let's get the view from Washington. Let's bring in CBS News White House reporter Olivia Rinaldi, who's joining me from outside of the White House on the lawn there. So, Olivia, the White House doubling down, I guess, on federal law enforcement and their account of what happened on the scene of that shooting. We all heard from the Vice President of the United States. And not only did he have some strong words about Renee Nicole Good, on social media, he called her a deranged leftist without any proof of that. What else are they saying, the administration?
Well, it's an interesting point that Asher actually just touched on, which is that they've already concluded that the ICE agent, the federal government, this administration, essentially is saying that this ICE agent has absolute immunity, even as this investigation is ongoing and that the FBI is investigating. Of course, you did just hear from those Minnesota lawmakers saying that they need coordination with people who are on the ground in Minnesota because they clearly have more of a presence there. Despite that, though, this administration is saying that the ICE agent did nothing wrong, that he was working in self-defense, and adding that the woman who was killed, Renee Good, they're alleging that she was part of a left-wing network that was being organized. And yesterday, it was pretty extraordinary. We heard from Vice President Vance from the podium of the briefing room at the White House making a statement about what happened on the ground in Minnesota. Typically, when you're making a statement from the White House podium, it's very serious, very grave, and the vice president took that opportunity to talk about the situation on the ground and describe Renee Good in quite interesting terms. Take a listen to what he said here.
You have a woman who aimed her car at a law enforcement officer and pressed on the accelerator. Nobody debates that. I can believe that her death is a tragedy, while also recognizing that it's a tragedy of her own making and a tragedy of the far left who has marshaled an entire movement, a lunatic fringe, against our law enforcement officers.
So some of the words you hear there, lunatic fringe. He also said she was brainwashed and a victim of left-wing ideology. So quite notable how they're painting Renee Good, even though we're just very much in the early days of this investigation.
And what are you hearing from the administration, Olivia, about how this immigration enforcement operation will move forward in Minnesota? As you know, Nicole Skanga reported that in the wake of Renee Nicole Good's shooting, that there have been some 200 to 400 more officials from ICE deployed to the ground of Minneapolis.
Yeah, they're planning on surging the amount of federal law enforcement that's on the ground in Minnesota. There's already about 2,100 ICE officers that are there. About 1,500 of those are in the enforcement and removal operations, but 600 of those are part of their Homeland Security investigations, which is a separate wing, but still a pretty heavy force there on the ground. There's also 200 more Customs and Border Patrol agents that will be deployed to Minnesota. CBS News also learned that they are thinking about deploying hundreds of additional agents to Minneapolis. So if there was any sign that after what happened earlier this week that operations would slow down, take a pause, kind of lower the temperature, that is not what's going to happen on the ground. In fact, this administration plans to surge their operations on the ground there and the amount of federal law enforcement that are there.
All right, Olivia Rinaldi reporting for us. Thank you, Olivia. I appreciate you.